Jeffrey threw the papers at my feet and laughed. "You're barren, Andrea. What good are you to any man?" That's when I heard the voice behind me. Deep, dangerous, expensive. "She's worth more than you'll ever comprehend, you pathetic fool." The words came from nowhere. From a man I'd never met. From a black SUV idling at the curb with tinted windows and two small faces pressed against the glass. I didn't know then that this stranger had been watching me for days, planning this moment. That I wasn't being rescued, I was being recruited. Welcome back and thank you for choosing to spend your time here with us at Tales. Your presence means everything, and we promise this story will stay with you long after it ends. If you believe in stories that change perspectives, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Let's build this community together. Now let's get into the story. Let me take you back to where it really started. 4 hours earlier, when my entire life collapsed in the front yard of the house I thought was mine. It was December in Chicago. The kind of cold that cuts through your coat and settles in your bones. I stood on the lawn, my lawn until 30 minutes ago, in nothing but a thin cardigan and jeans, watching Jeffrey change the locks on the front door. Our neighbors, the Caldwells, pretended not to stare from their window. Mrs. Henderson across the street didn't bother pretending. "5 years I wasted on you," Jeffrey said, not even looking at me as he worked the screwdriver. 5 years waiting for you to do the one thing a wife is supposed to do. You know what the doctor told me yesterday? That it's you. Your body. Your failure. I wanted to defend myself. To remind him that infertility isn't a failure. It's a medical condition. That there were options. IVF, adoption, fostering. But the words died in my throat because Jeffrey pulled out his phone and showed me a photo. A young woman, couldn't be older than 25, with her hand on a small rounded belly. His smile was the cruelest thing I'd ever seen. "Lindsay's 12 weeks along. Took us one try, Andrea. One try. Guess it wasn't me with the problem after all." The divorce papers came next, thrown at my feet like trash. Pre-signed, pre-filed. My belongings, already packed in garbage bags on the curb. He'd planned this ambush down to the minute. I had $43 in my checking account. No family. Both my parents died in a car accident 6 years ago. No friends. Jeffrey had systematically isolated me from everyone who might have helped. No job. He'd insisted I quit to focus on getting pregnant. I was 32 years old, homeless, and utterly alone. I didn't cry. I think I was too shocked for tears. I just picked up one of the garbage bags, walked to the bus stop 3 blocks away and sat down. I watched families pass by. Mothers pushing strollers. Couples holding hands. A father teaching his daughter to ride a bike in the park across the street. Every single one of them a reminder of what my body couldn't give me. That's where I was sitting. Numb, frozen, clutching a bag of my entire life, when the black SUV pulled up and everything changed. The SUV's interior smelled like leather and something expensive I couldn't name. 2 girls sat in the back seat, staring at me with the kind of curiosity reserved for stray animals. The younger one had dark curls and eyes that looked too sad for a child. The older one studied me with unsettling intensity. "Sarah, Wendy, say hello to Ms. Smith," Peter said, his voice flat, businesslike. "She'll be staying with us for a while." "Hello," they whispered in unison. I opened my mouth to protest, to ask what the hell was happening, but Peter was already driving. We left my old neighborhood behind, heading north toward the lakefront estates where people like Jeffrey only dreamed of living. The silence in the car was suffocating. 30 minutes later, we pulled up to a glass mansion that looked like it belonged in an architecture magazine. Modern, sterile, beautiful in the way a museum is beautiful, impressive but cold. "Margaret, take the girls upstairs," Peter instructed a stern-looking woman who appeared at the door. He turned to me. "My office. Now." I followed him through hallways of white marble and contemporary art, my garbage bag of belongings suddenly feeling obscene in this pristine space. His office was all dark wood and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Peter closed the door, poured himself a scotch. Didn't offer me one. I'm in a custody battle, he said, like he was opening a business presentation. My late wife's parents claim I'm an unfit father. They say I work too much, travel too often, that the girls are emotionally neglected. The hearing is in 4 months. I stared at him. What does this have to do with me? I need a partner. Convincing. Devoted. Maternal. Someone who can testify that my home is stable, loving, complete. He took a sip of his drink. 6 months. $250,000. You'll live here, play the role, testify if needed, then disappear. My stomach dropped. You want me to lie to a court? I want you to help me keep my daughters. His eyes were cold, calculated. What you had in that yard tonight. That's what losing everything looks like. I'm offering you a chance to gain everything. The question is, are you brave enough to take it? I should have walked away. Any rational person would have. But rationality is a luxury you lose when you're sitting on $43 and a stranger's mercy. If you've ever had to choose between your principles and your survival, you know this moment. You know why I stayed. Why me? I whispered. Peter's smile didn't reach his eyes. Because you have nothing to lose. And that makes you perfect. I woke in a guest suite bigger than my entire old apartment. Egyptian cotton sheets. A view of the lake. For a moment I forgot where I was. Then reality crashed back. Sarah and Wendy sat across from me at breakfast. Polite but distant. Their grief hung in the air like fog. Good morning, Miss Smith, Sarah said carefully. Margaret, the nanny, refilled their juice with deliberate coldness. Her loyalty to the late Mrs. Wilfred was written in every disapproving glance she shot my way. Peter arrived, impeccably dressed. Ground rules. You're my partner. The girls call you Andrea. Never Mom. In public we're affectionate. In private, boundaries. This is a job, not a relationship. He checked his watch. Tonight there's a charity gala. You're my date. Stylists arrive at 3. By 7 I barely recognized myself. Designer gown, professional makeup, hair swept up. I looked the part. Felt like a fraud. The gala was worse. Chicago's elite whispered behind champagne flutes. I caught fragments. Peter Wilfred's new woman? So soon after Elena. Desperate gold digger. Then Sarah spilled juice on her dress at the children's table. I moved instinctively, kneeling beside her, wiping it away. You're okay, sweetheart. It's just a dress. She looked up at me, surprised. You don't act like the other ladies Daddy brings around. Across the room, Peter watched. His expression unreadable. Leaving, he leaned close. You did well tonight. Tomorrow the real work begins. The Montgomerys are coming for dinner, Elena's parents. And they're coming for blood. Old money, old power and old grudges, Peter had warned. I spent all afternoon preparing, my anxiety mounting with each passing hour. Diane Montgomery arrived like ice royalty. Pearls, perfect posture, judgment radiating from every pore. Her husband Richard was quieter but no less assessing, watching everything with cold, calculating eyes. Dinner was a minefield. Every question Diane asked was a trap. So Andrea, where did you attend university? What does your family do? How long have you known Peter? 3 weeks. How convenient. I fumbled through answers, feeling her contempt grow with each word. Then Wendy dropped her fork. Mom, can you pass the... Silence crashed over the table. Diane's voice cut like glass. Elena was their mother. She died bringing them into this world. You're a stranger playing dress-up in a dead woman's life. Something in me snapped. You're right. I'm not Elena. I'm not trying to be. But I'm here, I'm present, and I'm not going anywhere. After they left, Peter poured scotch with shaking hands. Elena died 2 years ago during a complicated 3rd pregnancy. The baby didn't survive either. Diane blames me for encouraging her to try despite medical warnings. She's not fighting for custody, she's fighting for revenge. Movement on the staircase. Sarah and Wendy listening. Later Sarah peered at my door, eyes red. Do you think we killed our mom? My heart shattered. These girls had been carrying this guilt for 2 years, and Peter had been too consumed by his own grief to see it. I broke Peter's rules that night. I sat on the floor between Sarah and Wendy's beds and told them the truth. Your mother loved you so much she took a risk for your family. That's not your fault, that's love. And wherever she is, she doesn't blame you. She'd want you to live, not just survive. They cried for the first time in years, clinging to me like I was the only solid thing in their world. Peter found us like that. His face went dark with fury. I'd overstepped. But then he saw his daughters' faces. Relief. Release. Something in him cracked. I haven't known how to talk to them about it, he whispered later. Every time I try, I see Elena's face in the hospital. You hired me to play a role, I said gently. But if you want to win custody, those girls need healing, not performance. Diane's right about one thing, they've been neglected. Not because you don't love them, but because you're drowning in your own grief. I don't know how to be what they need. Then let me help. Really help. Not as an employee, as a partner. Something shifted. Over the next 2 weeks, I became more than hired help. Homework at the kitchen table. Bedtime stories that made them laugh. The sound of their giggles filling rooms that had been silent too long. Andrea, can you help me with this math problem? Andrea, will you braid my hair like you did yesterday? Not Ms. Smith. Andrea, said with affection, not formality. Sometimes the people who save us aren't the ones who offer comfort. They're the ones who offer truth. If you've ever been the person brave enough to break through someone's walls, you understand what came next. Peter's phone rang during dinner. His lawyer. His face went pale. The custody hearing is scheduled. 3 weeks. And the Montgomerys have hired the best family attorney in Illinois. Peter called me to his office at midnight. Unusual. Unsettling. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey. I need to tell you something. And after I do, you might want to leave. My stomach nodded. What? That night I found you. It wasn't coincidence. He met my eyes. I'd been having you watched for 3 days. The room tilted. You what? I needed someone for this role. My attorney suggested finding a woman in crisis. Someone desperate enough to accept, dignified enough to be convincing, and isolated enough that no one would ask questions. Your husband's public humiliation made you the perfect candidate. Felt sick. So you're no different than Jeffrey. You both saw me as a tool. Something in his face cracked. I thought that, first. But these past weeks, you're not what I expected. You're not broken. You're stronger than anyone I know. He leaned forward. The Montgomerys have investigators. They'll expose our arrangement. They'll destroy your reputation to win. You need to know what you're walking into. Leave now with dignity, or stay and face public humiliation. I'm staying, I said. Not for the money. Not for you. For Sarah and Wendy. They deserve a fighting chance. His expression was unreadable. Respect. Guilt. Something else. What I didn't tell him. I'd already found the uncashed checks in my drawer. All $83,000 so far. I hadn't touched a dime. The courtroom was ice cold. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, presided with no-nonsense authority. The Montgomerys' attorney circled like a shark. The first half went well. Peter's lawyer established our stable home. The girls' improved behavior, my positive influence. I started to hope. Then the bomb dropped. Miss Smith, is it true you were divorced 3 months ago for infertility? My throat closed. Yes. Is it true you were homeless the night Mr. Wilfred found you? Yes. Is it true Mr. Wilfred is paying you $250,000 for this performance? Gasps rippled through the courtroom. The judge's glare could have melted steel. This is a sham relationship built on desperation and manipulation, the lawyer concluded. Peter Wilfred is so unfit as a father that he had to hire a woman to pretend to love him. Peter's attorney scrambled, calling me to the stand for damage control. But I saw Sarah and Wendy in the gallery, terrified, crying, and made a decision. Screw the script. Everything he said is true. Peter hired me. I was desperate. I had nothing. I looked directly at the judge. But you want to know what else is true? Those girls were drowning in grief and guilt. Their father was drowning in pain. And I walked into a house full of ghosts and said, let's try being alive again. I can't give birth. My body won't allow it. But I can give love. Can show up. Can stay. And maybe that's what broken families need most. Someone who understands what it means to be broken. Silence. The judge leaned forward. Ms. Smith, are you in love with Mr. Wilfred? I don't know, I said honestly. But I love his daughters. And if that's not enough, then I guess broken people like me don't get happy endings. Diane Montgomery took the stand next. I braced for the final blow. Instead, she shattered. I don't want custody, she sobbed. I never did. I want my daughter back. And if I can't have her, I want him to suffer the way I suffer every day. Her confession spilled out. How she'd reinforced the girls' guilt, manipulated their grief to turn them against Peter. I wanted to take them from him because if he lost everything, maybe I'd feel less alone in my loss. Richard Montgomery held his wife as she wept. They withdrew the petition. The judge's ruling was swift. Peter retained custody, family therapy mandated for everyone, supervised visits to rebuild relationships. Victory. But at what cost? Side media swarmed. Cameras flashed. Questions were shouted at me like accusations. Peter shielded me, got me to the car. Back home, Sarah and Wendy ran to me, holding tight. Thank you for telling the truth, Sarah whispered. Peter stood in the doorway watching. His expression unreadable. That night he found me packing. The contract is fulfilled. You're free to go. I'll have the final payment wired tomorrow. I stared at him. We won the battle. Was I about to lose the war? 3 days of silence. I packed while Sarah and Wendy were at school. Peter's orders. Easier to rip the band-aid fast. The drive to O'Hare was suffocating. Peter stared straight ahead, jaw tight. At the terminal drop-off, I reached into my bag. Pulled out an envelope. This is the account information for every check you gave me. $250,000. Touch. I never cashed them. Peter's face went white. Why? Because if I took the money, that's all I'd ever be. The woman you paid to love your family. I didn't stay for money, Peter. I stayed because for the first time in my life I felt necessary. Not for what my body could do, but for who I chose to become. Before he could respond, chaos. Mom, don't go. Sarah and Wendy tore through the terminal, security chasing behind them. They crashed into me, sobbing, gripping my coat like lifelines. Please don't leave us, Wendy cried. We need you. Daddy needs you. Peter knelt beside us, and for the first time, his walls crumbled completely. I don't know if I can love anyone again. I don't know if I'm capable of it. But I know my daughters love you. And I know I don't want to find out what life looks like without you in it. Just stay. Not because I'm paying you. Stay because I'm asking. As your equal. Tears streamed down my face. Deal. The judge asked me if I was in love with Peter Wilfred. I said I didn't know. But standing in that airport, watching a man who'd built walls higher than his mansion finally tear them down, he knew. Love isn't always fireworks and passion. Sometimes it's two broken people saying, let's heal together. If that resonates with you. If you believe broken people deserve second chances. Stay with me for what comes next. 1 year later, we stood at Elena's grave together. All 4 of us. I placed flowers at the headstone. I'm not here to replace you. I'm here to honor you by protecting what you loved most. Peter's voice was soft. You gave me these girls. She gave me the courage to be their father again. Sarah and Wendy each held one of my hands. Peter's arm wrapped around my shoulders. We stood there, imperfect, blended, healing. Jeffrey told me I was worthless because my body was broken. But here's what I learned. Worth isn't about what you can produce. It's about who you choose to become when everything falls apart. And sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is just the beginning of your real story.